Now let's try to combine negation with quantifiers. So I'll take an example and explain you what it is. So my intention is to find out what could be negation of for all x p of x. Okay. So if you want to see how it is associated, it is like this: negation of for all x p of x. And also I want to find out what could be negation of there exists x p of x. So for clarity you can think of it this way. So what could be negation when it is applied to a quantifier? That is what I want to find out. So just to understand it even more clearly, I want to take a statement, probably a proposition, and then I want to analyze it. Now let us say a proposition is like this: every student in the class has taken a course in computer science. Okay. Now how can I express it using a propositional function is, let us assume that p of x represent x has taken a course in computer science. Now the given proposition, this one, can be represented using universal quantifier for all. Every means actually every student means for all students, right? Therefore if I write for all x p of x, then what does it mean? Every student. And what about the x? The domain of x is student of the class, all the students of the class. Now what does it mean? Every student in the class, which means for all students in the class, p of x is true, which means every student x has taken a course in CS. Got it? Now if I try to apply negation to this, negation of for all x p of x, now what does it mean? You have to apply negation to this statement as well. Every student in the class has taken a course in CS. If I try to apply negation, then the meaning will be no student in the class has taken a course, or there does not exist any student who has taken a course in CS, right? Okay, so what I mean to say is, if you try to understand this one, this will be equivalent to there exists at least one student in such a way that he didn't take the course. Okay, so see, if this one has, okay, I'm just trying to explain you in words. I'm not actually getting the exact words. I'll try again. See this. Now every student in the class has taken a course. If that is the statement, what will be negation of this statement? There should at least be one student who has not taken the course, isn't it? If this is true, when will this be false? If I try to apply the negation, then what happens is there should at least be one student, there exists at least one student who has not taken a course in computer science. Therefore negation of this one is going to be this one. So if you want to see why it is true, let's go step by step. Now let us say negation of for all x p of x. If this has to be true, if this entire thing has to be true, then this has to be false, isn't it? So what does it mean? For all x p of x has to be false, right? Then what does it mean? When will this be false? If there is at least one value of x for which this is false, isn't it? So what does it mean? There should at least be one value x1 that belongs to the domain in such a way that p of x1 is false, isn't it? Now what does it mean? There exists at least one value, let us say that is x1, which is present in the domain in such a way that p negation of p is true, right? So what does it mean? There exists at least one value of x for which negation of p is true. Therefore, there exists at least one value of x for which negation of p is true. Got it? Are you getting the steps? See, now how did I derive it? If this entire thing has to be true, then since you have applied negation, this thing has to be false. If this thing has to be false, then there should at least be one value for which p of x is going to be false. I'll assume that that value will be x1, which is present in the domain, right? Therefore, p of x1 is false, right? Now if p of x1 is false, then we are able to find out at least one value of x for which negation of p of x1 is true. Therefore, there exists at least one value for which negation of p1 is true. Got it? So either you remember this proof or you simply remember this rule. It is very important. There might be a question on this. It is the most important rule. So what is it? If you apply negation to for all, then for all quantifier will change to there exists, and negation you can take it inside and apply to the propositional function. On the same grounds, the same thing will happen to this as well. See this, negation of there exists x, p of x is actually equivalent to for all x negation of p of x. Okay, now how can you prove that these two are equivalent? Again, we follow the same method. Let us assume that this is true. When will this be true? Whenever this is false, isn't it? So what does it mean? There exists x, p of x has to be false. So what does it mean? If this entire thing has to be false, then there should not exist any value for which p of x is true. Which means for every value that is present in the domain, p of x has to be false. Which means for every value that is present in the domain, negation p of x has to be true, isn't it? Therefore, for all x, negation p is true. Got it? So either if you understood the proof, whatever I explained now, it is fine. Otherwise, you just remember this equation. It is important. So what did I do? Whenever I apply the negation to there exists, then there exists will convert to for all, and then you can take the negation inside and apply to the propositional function. Got it? So applying negation to the equivalences is very important, and we shall see some examples on how the questions can be asked. Okay.
Hi, if you are planning to do masters, then doing masters abroad is better than doing masters in India. I'll give you all the reasons. So first reason is, out of 1 lakh students who take GATE every year, there are only 500 seats in old IITs. So all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%, and IITs, universities better than IITs, they have very good acceptance rate like 30%, 40%, but all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%. And if you are working hard to get into IIT Bombay's ranking is 177. And IIT Roorkee's ranking is 400. If you are happy to get into IIT Roorkee, then getting into universities better than IIT Roorkee is easier compared to getting into IIT Roorkee. And looking at the salaries for computer science, for software jobs, if you have done your masters in computer science in US, the salaries are ranging from 80 lakhs per year to 1.2 crore per year. So even if you take an average of 1 crore per year, your savings will be much higher than the salaries in India. After taxes and your cost of living, you can easily save 40 to 50 lakhs per year. And in India, the maximum jobs that you get is around 30 lakhs. So your savings will be much greater than the salaries in India. And these are all the services that we provide. University shortlisting. So depending on your profile, we will shortlist what are the universities that you have to apply. And statement of purpose building, and then LOR guidance, and GRE and English test assistance, and education loan assistance. So you don't have to have any collateral, which means without any security, now you can get education loan. Getting education loan is very simple these days, and whatever the amount of fee that you have, you have a range of universities. You can apply for 10 lakh universities, 20 lakh universities, or 50 lakh universities. But whatever it is, you are going to get complete education loan, and you can pay off your education loan in 1 year after you get a job. And then we do visa assistance, mock visa interviews, and then connecting with the university alumni. So now you might ask why we should join Game of Visas. So the answer is we have 90% success rate, 99% success rate. And these are all the destinations that we guide the students to. So we guide students to any country that you want to go. So now it is not just USA. We guide to UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. So we guide students to all the countries. We work with all the destinations. And if you are interested in going abroad, you have to just drop us a message on this WhatsApp number 9494 555 454. Okay, thank you.